Let's get it. Heart throb never.
Men have to be very wary of being placed in situations where they have to keep starting over. The starting over thing, a lot of men don't foresee it, getting involved in certain relationships and, just situations that down the line will cause them to have to start over. Starting over, boy. And there's a lot of men who's talked about this already, but we just got to keep pushing the word. There's plenty of guys have talked about it, but we got to keep pushing it. Because one of the things that the people who think men are just complaining and they don't understand about this is that men put a lot of time into obtaining their tangibles and resources and things that they need, because they know nobody else is going to give it to them. So it takes them a long time to get those things that they need and the things that they want. And most of the time, you don't have to believe this, but you can be encountered and interact with enough males to see that when they get stuff, they typically want to share it, particularly with the women they involve with. So they don't have a problem with sharing those resources or even a lot of times giving them away. I've known dudes who have gotten to, pretty good spots financially, and they had things that, they could have kept for themselves for a rainy day, but they gave them away to people, to help people out. But it's particularly painful when you share your resources with someone. In men's case, we'll say a woman, and in some men's case, a woman and her children. But you share your resources with someone, things that you've worked hard for, only to be blindsided down the line and have all of that stuff taken from you by proxy or by, divorce or by, whatever it is, whatever reason it's going to lead to you not being able to obtain or maintain your things. And that's a particularly stability destroying and wealth limiting dynamic when that occurs, because the men have to keep starting over. And it's not like women haven't gone through this too. There's some women who experience this thing too, where they give and give and give, and the people that they're with, they don't really appreciate them, and they have to keep starting over, losing things that they've had to work hard for. But in this case, I'm talking about men, and particularly men who pride themselves on being able to provide for the people that are around them. They don't know any other way. They don't know any other thing but to give. They'll sacrifice their needs for the people around them so that the people around them are comfortable. And it's an unfortunate but fortunate thing at the same time that in this day and age we're learning, the men are learning, like, oh, okay, I see how this game is going. I can't do that anymore, man. Like I've got to think about me. I got to think about myself. I got to maintain and make sure that myself is solid when this chick decides she want to bounce, or when this marriage dissolves, or these so-called friends that I have, they don't have a use for me anymore outside of my access to tangibilities. But there's some men who've had to start over a few times, and they look back and say, man, if I had just not dealt with that chick, the stuff that I lost, I wouldn't be trying to reobtain that stuff. I wouldn't be trying to get a house now. All they had to do was just keep it for themselves. And I know this sounds selfish, like, but the society has left men no choice but to do this type of thing. They left them no choice but to start thinking like, hey, forget everything else, man. I'm thinking about me. Society has left men a real messed up choice of deciding whether they want to have children with women. And you look at the pool, POOL, the pool of women that they have to choose from to try to have a child with. Like I said in one of my earlier videos, most of these women already have children. You know, the man is not, he's not being the first of anything. He's getting things that have, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but he's getting things that have already been used. He's getting nothing that's firsthand to him except for the stuff that he works for. Brand new out the box. That's the only thing he gets new. And then down the line, someone can decide that they want to take that from him and literally take it from him. You know, they could be successful at that, leaving them in the weird position of having to start over all again. Just that wealth depleting dynamic that occurs when a man gets involved with a woman, the relationship doesn't work out. Some kind of way she ends up, you know, either destroying or, you know, breaking or ruining the things that he had when he was with her, living with her, or them living together, however it went down, and or just losing it all by proxy through divorce, or him just being so fed up with the situation to say, you know, fuck it, I'll just leave everything here. I'm gonna just go. That situation. This is a real, you know, success limiting factor that men have to think about and be aware of when they're getting involved with this stuff. You know, it's like you take men and, you know, they learn the disciplines to get ahead and the things they need to get ahead in. And some of those disciplines are, you know, being organized. Men don't need a whole lot of space. So they can organize a small space. We can organize a small space and really thrive and, you know, with what we have. And then when they graduate from the smaller spaces to bigger spaces, you know, they find that the women are coming around wanting to partake in those resources and those luxuries. And for underdeveloped men, which is generally a case of just being too young to know what this thing is all about, they'll happily invite the woman along and let her partake of what he has because he wants to make her happy, and he's not foreseeing a future where this thing is looking real crazy. But there's a lot of men that can tell you when they let these women into their circle, into their lifestyle, the quality of their life the quality of their life starts to diminish almost immediately, where things are getting broken, and you know, his level of maintenance inside the home, because he put the elbow grease in, you know, making sure that things is cool and all of that, you know, his level of having the environment pristine the way that he likes it, and I'm speaking of myself, the way that I like it, it starts to diminish. And it seems like these things shouldn't be serious enough for a gripe. But if it's not put in check immediately, you start seeing all those things you worked hard for, you know, just to, you know, over a course of time, you look around and start seeing your shit looking raggedy. This is how it goes. And yeah, it's crazy, man, because you'll see that being in these relationships with some women, their level of housekeeping won't be the same as the men's, and then the women look at the housekeeping as you know, some type of slavery. You know, it's like it doesn't register to them that how is this slavery? This is your environment. But you don't want to put in the elbow grease to keep it as pristine as when you came into it. It's an amazing thing to think about. So I'm gonna have to touch on this a little later, but I just wanted to drop this and possibly make another part to it at some point. So that setback of having to start over is something to deal with, man. Just think about that. I'm out.
Heartthrob never.